I knew that there was something bigger for me, that I could have something more than this life. And like, I was willing to fight tooth and nail for it and go through hell for it, you know? And like, that belief carried me pretty far. So I was right, you know, which is cool because I would have been real pissed if I wasn't, you know, but I think it was just like, I just wanted to be somebody at the end of the day. I didn't want to have this life be in vain.
Welcome back to the Hopeaholics podcast. I'm your girl, Natalie Eva Marie.
And I'm Chad Carlson, and you're listening to the #1 addiction and mental health podcast.
And you guys, if you or a loved one is struggling, make sure you head to askevamarie.com or chaddick.com and chat with one of our AI companions 24/7.
Or text the number right here on the screen.
Together, we are breaking the stigma around addiction and mental health.
And fighting the fentanyl epidemic.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Keta.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Hopeaholics podcast.
Thank you for having me. I've actually been a fan for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for making the drive. I know it wasn't easy.
It was actually clear, but it was raining like torrential downpour, and it was a little bit. It was about an hour.
It's raining right now?
Not anymore, but on the drive it was.
It was?
Holy
Yep,
smokes!
it started
I didn't
raining
even
this
know.
morning, and then it like cleared out. Like just as I was walking out, I'm like, please don't rain my hair out. And I didn't
Yeah,
want
for
to get
sure. I feel
crazy.
that.
I didn't want to walk in looking
Hell
like
yeah.
a wet dog. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, and then I got on the freeway, and it was like pouring.
Really?
Pouring, dumping, and then finally it cleared up once I got this far south.
So you're in Long Beach area?
I live in Long Beach. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I lived in OC for a while. I've lived in a couple different countries, just like moseying about, you know, just, and then, but came to Orange County in 2015 to go to rehab. And so I kind of stayed. I was living in LA. That's where I like spent most of my addiction, and did a little transplant situation, not too far, but far enough to like get me out of the scene that I was in, and built a community in Orange County. And like, that was what kept me clean. You know, that's what kept me in the recovery circle, was like that community of people that I built, and I didn't want to leave. So I built my life here. So yeah. And then this last year I took the move to Long Beach just for, I don't fucking know, shits and gigs. And then I realized the homeless population is way worse in Long Beach than it is in Orange County, but that's okay. We're working with it.
Yeah. It's funny though, because like when I'm like, I drive up to like the valley often up the 405. And when you're coming back, and you know, the city before Orange County is Long Beach, right? I mean, there's I think there's something like right in Lakewood or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But the actual, even if you're like, when you're driving and you look to the side, when you get to Orange County, the freeway, the side of the freeway changes. We have a nice, beautiful, pretty wall.
Yeah.
And
You're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like leaving Gotham.
For
Leaving
real.
Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie Just in Time with Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
And like, okay, it's like that when you're leaving the district.
Yep.
You know, like
Yep.
that's what it feels like for sure.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good movie. I want to watch
forgot
that
about
again.
It.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I will say the weather feels like movies type weather.
Yeah, movies,
Right now?
warm drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, of course.
That's
Right
all.
now it's raining outside.
He doesn't
Boy.
know. He's barely on
I've been locked up in this place, cooped up here for a while.
It is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. You forget the actual like.
Well, it's been super nice the past few days. Today was just
Yeah,
like
you're
out of
right.
nowhere. I guess there's supposed to be some weird storm that's blowing east.
So even though we're super off topic,
Yeah.
because we want to go into everything about you, but it's like a massive storm, especially east and central, because currently. I'm trying to sell a house in Texas.
Okay.
And we have a open house that is scheduled for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh,
and now it's shut down
no.
because
Yeah.
the Texas is literally closing.
Right.
Like because of ice.
My son
and-
said it's gonna snow in
Yeah.
Waco.
Oh shit!
He's
See,
yeah, my son's
See?
in Waco.
Well, I
Yep.
know last time it like froze over and there was people without power or water or anything for days. So
Well,
I
and
hope
what's
it's-
crazy in Texas, they have, unlike we have them here, you know, like you're like over, what are they called? Overpasses. Mm-hmm. And they give a warning. Like I've never lived in a state, because obviously I'm from California, but
yeah.
where they will shut down the city. Like they shut down the DMV or anything like that when there's
severe weather.
Exactly, because there's so many people that die because the ice, and then they'll go on the overpass
Just driving off of it.
basically.
Oh my god.
Or driving into another one because you can't stop. It's wild.
I think I saw one of those, like, it was like a 100-car pileup or something. That was like that video going around, and it was just insane. Nobody could stop. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Then they're smart to take those precautions, but
For sure.
yeah, hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah. But we get, California, you can't really beat our weather.
We're so lucky. And like, I've lived a bunch of different places. I've traveled a bunch of different places. I moved to Vegas in 2021 just to I was like, maybe I don't want to live in California anymore. Biggest regret of my life.
Oh,
and I was
really?
like stuck. Yeah, I ended up like keeping my place there, but like moving to Mexico and like living in Mexico instead. I was like, if I'm gonna be hot, I'm gonna be by a beach, and I'm gonna learn Spanish, and I'm gonna do that. I was just like, I'm gonna go free reign over here. But Vegas is like, I feel like people just go and leave their sins there. I don't know. It just has like this dark cloud over it for me for some reason.
I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? You go to Vegas,
yeah,
and like do whatever the fuck you want, and then you come home and
Yeah.
you leave it there, and you're not after that
what
you're not
part?
supposed to talk about it.
but you could feel it. Like you could feel that people were like, I don't know. It just felt like very like grimy spiritually.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Yeah.
can see that. It's like spiritually bankrupt.
Yeah. So, and it's a desert too. So
Yeah.
it's just like
dry as
barren,
fuck and
like
hot.
there's no nature. There's like one squirrel and you're like, hi, there's no trees. They have like palm trees. I don't know how they survive. They have to water them or whatever, but yeah, it's just a barren land. So as soon as I could, I moved back to California.
What part of Vegas?
I was in Henderson.
Damn.
I was in Henderson and then I lived in downtown for a year. Yeah.
Okay.
In the art district. Yeah.
Damn.
So,
And then from there you went to Mexico?
So I was living in Mexico. I was living in Mexico. I broke both of my feet and I had to come back and
Okay, whoa, what's up? How'd you break both your feet at the same time?
Convinced 10 people to go night swimming with me in Tulum, and I was running into the ocean and screaming, "I love my life," because it was like a badass moment, and there was this rut, like a ditch, and I didn't realize that it was there. It's filled with water. I thought it was a puddle, and I just like poof, 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 poof. I just like rolled it out. Now I had gotten in an ATV accident when I was 13 really badly. They had to reconstruct my entire right leg. So I don't know this at the time, but it breaks through my bone, but the plate is holding it in place. That's in my ankle already. So my ankle swells up like a grapefruit. I break my other foot like on the top, and I go to like this middle of the night Mexican clinic, and like the doctor like does these blurry x-rays for me and charges me $1,000 and says I'll be fine in 5 days. And I was like, I feel like you're wrong. But I believed him because I wanted to believe him. Traveled to Colombia, where I was in the middle of writing my book at that time. So I was like not giving up this idea that I needed to finish this book. And so I moved to Colombia, and I was there for 3 months, 2 months in Bogota, and then one and a half, maybe 2 months in Cartagena. And by the end of that, when I finished my book, I was like, I'm still not better. Like I was on crutches still. So I was like, I need to book a flight back and see an actual doctor. And like, sure enough, as soon as I got off the plane, I went to the ER and they like did x-rays. They're like, yeah, your foot's broken, your ankle's broken, here's a boot, and I had just been like traveling around. I have not made all the best life decisions. I'm not going to say that I would take life advice from me. I do give it quite often, but from an experiential standpoint, you know what I mean? Like from a place, I've made all these mistakes. Here's what not to do. I'll go traverse the wild for you and like bring back my little pebbles of wisdom if I can, So yeah, that's that story. But
damn, that's actually crazy. So how long did it take you to heal from that?
it was like 3 months. Like my muscle actually like atrophied a lot because I wasn't using the leg. So that was the hardest part. Like when I did get the walking boot on, I couldn't balance. Like I couldn't walk. So I had lost my balance completely. So it was just like walking along walls, like holding walls, doing PT and like building the muscle back up. And it took like, I want to say like maybe a year and a half to fully like redevelop my quad muscle in that leg. Like I was better in a few months. Like I had my stability and I could walk. I was walking slow, couldn't hike the same way that I was because I was living in Peru, like hiking different mountains and stuff, and so I tried to do a hike in Vegas in San Diego at one point after breaking it. And I was like, I couldn't even do like this mile hike, So it probably took 6 months to a year to get my entire mobility back, and I still have pain in it and stuff, but yeah, it wasn't too bad once I figured out that it was broken and I knew to do the PT for it.
Yeah. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from a small town called Red Bluff, California. So it's I call it Shit Town America. It's actually one of the most dangerous towns, like categorically. Like it's like the fourth most dangerous town to live in, like for violent crimes per capita. Yeah, it's like generational poverty, addiction, a lot of like prison systems. So generationally, like the father will go to prison, leave the kid's life, then the kid ends up getting in trouble. They end up in the juvenile justice system, and then they end up in prison, and they have these kids along the way, and then the kids end up in addiction. And like there's just like this generational cycle that's happening in that town. And of course, addiction, no economy whatsoever. Like there's a steel mill and a Walmart distribution center, which is where people work if they're good, hardworking citizens. 'Cause it's hard work. It's not like you're not getting by without busting your ass out there. But yeah, I grew up in the foster care system from 11 to I aged out. I kind of was a bad kid, I was a traumatized kid is what it was. And I expressed in very angry ways. Like I didn't like what was happening at home, and I knew something was wrong. And I have an older sister who was very I don't want to say people pleasing, but she knew what she had to do to survive. Whereas I was like, absolutely the fuck not. And I was just a terror because what was going on, like with parents that struggled with addiction and generational trauma and things like that, like you're gonna voice that, either you're gonna stay silent or you're gonna voice that. And so I started acting out, getting in trouble in the foster care system, and then getting into fights and like vandalism and just like little things, but it all added up. And then at 14, I was committed to the California Youth Authority. So I spent from 14 to 16 and a half in like juvenile prison. So I did that. I got out and went to a parole home, which was like a foster home because I was still a minor, but I was on state parole at that point for juvenile justice. And was with a family, the Kellys, who were a beautiful family, beautiful Christian family. They were wonderful. I was with them for like 2 years. And then I had a violation. I went back and did 9 months. And at the end of that 9 months, they're supposed to give you like resources and shit. Like grow up in the system, like don't have any family, don't have any resources to like make it in the big bad world. And so they know this. And so they like to give you housing and like resources to get a job or like how to make a resume. And like, they do all this stuff for foster kids as well. Thank God. But they passed a law called SB 81. And what it basically did was it sent all the juvenile nonviolent offenders back to their county instead of being under state jurisdiction. And I was already 18. So my county was like, we don't fucking want her. Like, what are we going to do? She's an adult now. Like, good luck. Here's 2 weeks in the Crystal Motel and figure it out. So I had gotten in that accident when I was 13. And so I had like a structured settlement set up for when I was like 18, 21, 25, and 30. So I was getting a payout, like a large payout from that insurance. And so me in like survival mode, I decided that I was going to be Tony Montana and I was going to sell meth. And like, that was like what I thought was like the best plan for me, which is actually just such a fucking sad concept that like all roads led to me thinking the only option out for me was to sell drugs, and I was not like a hardened criminal. Like I was actually very naive, very innocent, very loving. Like I would give you the shirt off my back, which did not work in that world at all. Like I got taken advantage of so much. And it actually came to a close one night with, I don't think I've ever shared this story. It's in my book, but with me in a room with multiple men showing up at this house that I was friends with the owner of the house. I used to date his brother, and I was selling out of their house. And so of course I was hooking up the person whose house it was. And I expected that would ensure my protection, you know, and it did not. And so like people kept showing up, and it was a trap. So it's not like unusual for like people to be coming in and out, but like people were coming in and they were staying. And my ex had shown up, and we got into like a little tiff, whatever. And I was going to leave because things had gotten weird, and I was like sensing like my gut was like telling me to get the fuck out. And this guy walks up to me and he just rocks my shit just straight to the face. And I like did a spin, and for some reason I already had like a knife in my hand. And not for some reason, but like I was already like, I was already there. I was already kind of peeping out what was going on. And I just kind of started slashing, and I don't like, there was no conscious decision at this point. Like I wasn't like a Billy Badass, like trying to, you know, stake my claim or like get over on it. Like this was pure primal, like survival. Like if you're going to hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. Yeah. And, so like he backed up, and I'm like back on a futon. Like I had done like a full 360 and like fell back on a futon. And, I'm like holding this knife, and there's like people standing in the door, and, they're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what's going on? And, I'm figuring out like, oh, like this is a setup. Like they're going to rob me. Like that's what this is. And so, I'm like, back up, let me leave. And I'm just trying to get out of the place. And this guy, his name is Bullet actually, but in my book, his name's Trigger or something like that. I changed names to like save the, he's not innocent, fuck him. But so he ends up walking up with like a switchblade, or like, a knife that like you would shave somebody's face with.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, give me your shit. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. And so we were kind of in a standoff, and it was like the first time that I had felt actual fear for what might happen next, because I wasn't budging, and like neither was he. And it was at a point where I was like, somebody's going to get hurt. And I also realized that like your primal instincts will take over. Like I never thought that I was like capable of actually hurting somebody in that way, you know, but when I was put in that position, somebody else shows up, and it's like years primordial rage of like survival, like starts racing through. You're like, the reason why you are here today is because your lineage survives so fucking much, and it's showing up all at once. And you're just like, whoa, this is not even something that's in your control anymore, you know? And luckily this guy, Clint, who is my ex's brother, like walked in between us, and he was like, everybody stop, she's walking out of here. And I was, because I think I screamed at him, and I was like, this is your house. Like, what the fuck is happening? And so he ends up breaking it up, and I walk out backwards, and the moment the door shuts, I just fucking ran. Like I was terrified. And I'm 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fucking child. And so I run, and like this yellow truck pulls up next to me, and he was like, I just saw what happened. Like, do you want, you know, like, do you need help or anything? And I just screamed, get the fuck away from, because I didn't trust anybody, you know? And I like was staying on my sister's couch at that time because I didn't have anywhere to live, you know, like I had just gotten out of the system, and there was, you know, thank God my sister had like kind of taken pity on me and let me sleep on her couch for a little bit while I was trying to figure things out. But it was like that night where I was like, I got to get out of here. Like, this is my destiny if I stay in this town.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack Bags. This gear is meant for anybody gym, lifestyle, to anybody that's on the move. I mean, I like to say that us here and everybody that tunes in, we're not average. We're always a wolf. They have all the goods that you need, especially for anybody that is looking for a bag to carry their meal prep, a lunch pail, anything like that. They have you covered. So once again, go to wolfpack.com, use the code Hopeaholics, save 10%, and join the pack.
And like the next day, I had gotten an email from MySpace message, actually, from one of my old friends who said that they were, it was like a God shot, but like it wasn't. It was actually human trafficking, but but in the moment, like it was like an answer to me escaping that situation. You know what I mean? So I ended up taking a Greyhound bus to LA. And like I said, it was not a good situation. It was a situation that I had to escape as well. But it got me out here. And then I spent the next few years like in addiction, trying to figure out and find my place. And then it was like 2014, I was actually realized that I wanted to get sober. And I tried for a year to do it on my own. And at that time I was IV, meth, and heroin. And yeah, I realized, I was like, oh, I actually do need help. Like I probably do need to go to rehab. And it was like, everybody else fucking knew, you know, like and I'd even heard people say like, do you want to go to rehab? My sister, she was like, I'll pay for it. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'll be right back, you know? And like whenever an addict tells you they'll be right back, you're never fucking seeing them again. That's just the way that it is. But it took, you know, it took a year of me doing like the Suboxone shuffle, like trying to kick on my own, and to where I was fully like ready to concede to the fact that I was powerless in that moment and that I needed to actually access help. And so I called like every treatment center in LA, and everybody hung up on me because I didn't have insurance. And then my dad was actually getting out of rehab, and he was like, I think this place will scholarship you. And I was like, I'm down to do that if that's the case.
What year was that?
2015.
2015.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 2015, I actually went through Step House. I don't know if they're still here, but
what's crazy is like I've been in like the treatment industry for a long fucking time now. I'm surprised even back then. I mean, I guess people didn't really know how, but they did. Like even back then, 2015, you would have been eligible to get Affordable Care Act health insurance.
Yeah, I think they got me insurance.
They could help you get insurance. And
yeah, they did actually. I think they just got it for me.
Especially back then, because it was like, we called it the Wild Wild West. It was like fucking off the chains.
Yeah.
This
before they made a bunch of new like laws and stuff
the
about it.
Anti-kickback law and 2015 was a...
But yeah, I guess I was calling the wrong places. I think that God was using it to make me desperate.
I mean, yeah. You got it. That's the one thing I tell people, like the gift of desperation is the best gift that you can ever receive.
Yeah.
Receive. What year was it when you were when you were in that situation? Like, what year was that? LA's fucking crazy.
LA's crazy.
But were you in? I want to go back to the story with the knife.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like you might have jumped a little bit.
Yeah, I did skip. Yeah.
There's a lot. I think there's.
I think
a lot
I was tying it back around to like when I moved to LA or where I was from.
When did you go? When did you move to LA?
I moved to LA in 2008.
In 2008, and this
8th,
other thing happened.
I'll never forget it.
In what city?
In Red Bluff.
Red Bluff.
Yeah, my hometown. So that wasn't LA. That's like, and stuff like that happens every single day in that town. Like if you go online, like, and type crimes in Red Bluff or like Red Bluff man shot or like anything violent in Red Bluff, like there's just all this news will pop up, and it's really sad. Like it's got a very violent culture to it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I had the same idea as you at 18 years old. I became a meth dealer.
Yeah.
At 18 years old. I thought that was going to be the thing. I dropped out of high school. The day after I turned 18, I dropped out of high school and became a meth dealer.
We are not so different.
We're not that different.
Was yours the same? Like that's just why did you choose
my whole family's life went to shit in a blink of an eye, and everything was getting lost, and I just went full blown into my own meth addiction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I thought it would be I thought alcohol was my problem prior to that. And so on my right before my 18th birthday, I made a decision to stop drinking.
Okay.
And that I was only going to use meth.
Solid. I love our justification.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cause like
Just
I
meth.
didn't get
Yeah.
I didn't get sloppy with meth. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't not until I picked up the needle and it just kept progressing and
There's
progressing.
no
and,
way to keep it together at that point.
like,
Yeah.
So from 18 by the time at 18, it took 9 months before I got my first arrest.
Okay.
Possession for sale of methamphetamines.
Yeah.
18.
You lasted longer than me. Yeah. People just kept trying to rob me. And I was like, I even got a really big dog. I'm like, maybe this isn't for me, you know? So
I got fucking worked for a while.
yeah,
It was, it
it's
took
such
me,
a grimy.
Yeah, it's
fucking-
horrible.
people are I grew up in
grimy.
San Bernardino, and it was that was like the meth capital of the world back then too.
Yeah.
In my era, I'm way older than you.
Yeah, but
this
it's
was
still kind
1992 is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it was fucking. It's really grimy out there now, but like
Yeah.
Red Bluff sounds like a
It's gnarly, dude.
pretty
Yeah,
nice
I don't
place.
even know. I don't even know
Where
what
the
Red
fuck
Bluff
is it?
is.
It's in between Chico and Redding on the
Oh.
5. So it's like a blip.
It's like
You
no
blink and you
man's
miss it.
land.
It's no man's land. It's
You
like,
heard of it, Emily?
Yeah, it's way up north.
It's
Not way
up.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
up above you. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's way up there. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours from the Oregon border.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, so it's very outlaw-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I like outlaw-ish stuff.
I do too, but not when you don't like stand for anything. When
Yeah, there
there's
ain't
no
shit to
code.
do. It's just like zero,
what I mean?
nothing.
I think that's what I realized was like there was no fucking loyalty. There was no like, cause like I could get down with like, like the
Sons of Anarchy.
sins of that's exactly what I was picturing in my head when you said that. Actually, that was exactly where I was going with that.
I'm like
I
rewatching
could get-
it right now.
It's a
'cause
great show.
It is a
It's one of the
great
best
show.
shows.
Yeah,
ever,
I just
ever
had
done.
finished season 2 where they, with Isabel and the fucking the Aryan Brotherhood, and they,
Yeah,
it's
I'll have to rewatch that.
Me
'cause
too.
I'm
It's
watching
good,
Yellowstone
actually.
right
Oh,
now.
yeah, great show.
Yeah, it's one of the other best shows ever made.
see,
so
I like Yellowstone too. I mean,
See,
I like
and that's
that.
the
See,
rules.
people
and
want
how
to become
shit's
like
run.
a fucking cowboy and shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but like they have They have like a code,
Yes.
like and like they live by, and everybody was like,
Or else you're going to the
they
train tracks.
fucking did. Not.
I've
Yeah.
heard though that like in my era, everybody lived by a. Well, that's not true because by the time I got arrested, the guy fucking ratted on me. So
Well, when your back's against the wall, you really get to see who's
Yeah.
real and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and your back's always against the wall when you're
Yep.
shooting meth.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like you get lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think the streets are way like just grimy than
They
they
are.
used to be.
I think it's good that they are, dude. It gives you a little bit of something to,
Not want to go back to.
not want to
maybe?
go back to, not want to return to. I know I wanted to hightail it out of there, and like I walked out without a scratch on me, which is like God's protection. I know it because the amount of men that were in that room that
Sure.
like I stood no chance, but like either
Kill 'em.
my insanity.
You would have killed.
I would have done.
Somebody would have died.
Somebody would. That's what it came down to. I think Clint saw that. He's like, somebody's gonna die in my house. Like she's
For
not,
sure.
giving
Like,
up.
I'm
without a
gonna
fight.
get
Like,
fucked over here.
I'm
'cause
gonna
this
go
is my
to
home.
prison. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like but the amount of insanity that was to walk out of unscathed and be like, I don't know if I'm getting out of a situation like that again. Like next time I'm in a position like
Right.
that, I'm not walking out. I'm not walking out. So I need to get the fuck out of here. And I had that much sense because I had lived, I had like grown up in that town for like my early years, but then I got put in foster care and then I ended up doing time and I was in Ventura for my time, and so
How I want to talk about because you went to YA,
Mm-hmm.
you went to California Youth Authority, like that ain't.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the women's side, but the men's side, it's no joke.
It's not.
And you say that you were naive
yeah.
coming out.
You're naive in a different way. It's a different way. It's like, God, you just want love, dude. Like when you grow up without it, like that's all you want. You want love. You want acceptance. You want people to have your back. And like you think that these people are your friends and they're just fucking not. Like
No.
they're there for the bag or they're there for the come up and like they will turn on you in an instant. So that's the way that I was naive. And I think like in YA, like it's there was kind of a code that everybody lived by. Like prison's a little bit different than the streets. Like there is a code because there's an order, you know what I mean? Like there's an order to things. I would say that the streets are the wild, wild west, you know, where everything's just so unpredictable. And so coming out of it, I was just like, I wanted to kind of make a name for myself and be somebody. And I've always wanted to be somebody, like, because I grew up with nobody, had nothing. And so I just remember sitting in a trailer with Cliff, the guy Clint's brother that I was dating at the time. I'm on the run from fucking parole. The police had just come to the trailer and his grandma was like 90 years old and she was bad bitch. He was like, who's that laying on the couch? She's like, that's my granddaughter. And I'm like pretending to be asleep because I have a warrant out for my arrest. And he's like, can I come in? And she's like, no, you can't. This is a private residence.
Oh my
It's
God.
like 7 people in this tiny like icebox fucking trailer, you know? Oh my God, memory lane. And he finally leaves and I'm just like, is this my life? Like, is this what I'm going to continue to do? This is before all that happened. This was before my violation. And I looked at Cliff and I was just like, don't you want to be somebody? And he was like, I am somebody. And I was like, whoa. Because I was like, no, you're not. But like, he was like, okay with living that way. And for some reason, I just fucking wasn't. Like, I knew that there was something bigger for me, that I could have something more than this life. And like, I was willing to fight tooth and nail for it and go through hell for it, you know? And like, that belief carried me pretty far. So I was right, you know, which is cool because I would have been real pissed if I wasn't, you know? But I think it was just like, I just wanted to be somebody at the end of the day. I didn't want to have this life be in vain. I didn't want to, my dad, dude, I'm like dealing with him right now. He's in a psych ward and like, he's kind of like my kid, you know, I've been taking care of him on and off since I was a kid, you know? And so, I have this joke that I won't, never mind. It's kind of mean. I don't want him to hear it. But he's been like, you know, my child along the way and, trying to get him in these places. Wait, there was something I was saying. Crap, I lost it. I lost where I was going with that. What was I saying?
It might
before
come
that?
back.
You were talking about well, right before that you were just talking about that fact that your dad was in the psych ward and he was like your kid, and then you were going to tell us the joke and then you thought that was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea because it's I mean, he's just been I feel like he's been my assignment, you know what I mean, from God, like my lesson in unconditional love, because it's a thankless job and like loving an addict and like one that's like late stage, right? So what I saw, like my dad was always the perfect example of like what I didn't want to be, and like, sorry dad if you hear this, but you know, like this reality is reality, and I try not to trash anybody or like throw anybody under the bus.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, your dad has the same disease that we all have.
Exactly.
You know, and like not everybody finds recovery. You know, and that's sad.
Yeah.
It's more sad than anything. And I like, to be honest with you, like, you know, I commend you for, you know, just being there for him and loving him unconditionally, because what else are we going to do?
Yeah. And it's actually super tragic. Like, this is when my family kind of fell apart, is like we were poor, you know what I mean? And like, we never had enough money for anything. And, 1 year, 95, it was Christmas and the power got shut off because he couldn't pay the bill, and he left a candle burning to go gamble at the casino and try to gamble the money to like turn the power back on, because he had a little bit but he didn't have enough, and the house went up in flames and killed 3 of my brothers and 1 of my sisters.
Oh shit.
And he lost his fucking mind.
Oh my
and he never came back.
God.
And so he tried like for a few years in my childhood, like after that, like he turned to God and he got like, he wasn't using anything at that point, but like afterwards he was. And then he like really went on the straight and narrow, he was a musician as well, was writing Christian music. And like some of my best memories from my childhood are from that period, you know, of before everything blew up, and then just he couldn't keep a hat on it. And how do you live with that amount of guilt or like that amount of shame or responsibility? And I could never even imagine what it's like to carry that with me, because I've carried grief that was devastatingly heavy and I had nothing to do with it. It wasn't my fault, and it was one person. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine being in that position. I don't know if I would be here. Like, I don't know if I would have survived it. You know what I mean? I think I would have maybe self-deleted at that point. Like, so I have a lot of compassion for his plight, you know? Yeah. And so I just this is my advice to anybody dealing with like an addict parent. Love them because they're an addict and not because they're your parent. Like, you have to separate the two. You have to separate them, because if you're looking to them as a parent, it hurts so much more than if you're looking to them like an addict. Like, if you just see them as the human instead of your relation to them, it takes away so much of the hurt, and you're able to operate from such a different standpoint. But when you personalize it, because I did that for many years, because he would be ugly or he would be unkind or, you know, outburst because I wouldn't give him money or whatever the case is. And it would hurt me, you know? And then I was like, oh, that's not my dad. Like, this is an addict. Like, I have to separate these two things so that, for one, I can actually help or be of help in any way that I can, and so that it doesn't hurt, you know? And that's always been a rule of thumb for me, is like, I want to help in a way that doesn't hurt me or anybody else. So that goes for enabling, that goes for, you know, which turns into self-harm, you know, because you're allowing codependency, all of the, you know, therapy words and stuff like that. So, but separating those two things has allowed me to be able to be there for him in a capacity to where I can walk him home with dignity. And that's my only goal. Like, I'm not holding out hope that, like, there's just some people that I don't know if it's going to work for, you know? And so, loving him has been the biggest, like, I've learned so much tolerance. I've learned so much patience. I've learned, like, the true definition of unconditional love. And you will learn those things loving an addict. You just will. Like, they are inherent. They come with the territory.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And a lot of people can't love us, you know. I think sometimes it takes one of us to love one of us.
Absolutely.
You know, because like, we get it.
Yeah.
You know, other people don't get it.
No.
Like, you know, somebody's in an alcoholic blackout and they're being mean to me. Even like, say, like somebody that I love and they're being mean to me and they're out and saying mean things. I know that's actually not even them.
Yeah.
So I don't have to take it personal.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't have to go deep into like, oh my God. And then they wake up the next morning not even knowing they said these things. And you're like, my feelings don't have to be hurt because I get it.
Yeah.
Because I have that disease.
Gives you like a Teflon covering.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, you're just like, it doesn't phase the same way. Because I have siblings that I'm in touch with. You know, we have a relationship now, and like, they can't, like, nobody else in my family can even navigate him because he's got, like, you know, drug-induced schizophrenia at this point, and you know, it's like, it's rough. It's hard to deal with.
Meth, his drug, his DOC,
of trash can, everything. You know what I mean? Just mixed together, put it all together. That's what I was. You know, I was a garbage can. Like, if it changed the way that I felt, like, I was gonna do it, and if it was free, even better. You know, that was my favorite kind of drug.
But I would seek meth more than anything in my life.
I mixed heroin and meth. Yeah, that was. I think
that's a good one.
You know, like,
if you're gonna do
it,
fucking
you know?
get loaded, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There was it's so crazy though, because like, statistically, it makes perfect sense that would be my path. But like, being the living miracle that I know that I am, you know, is also completely, like, it's insane. Because why me? Why did I get to make a different choice? Why was I let off the elevator? Why was I given the opportunity to change? Because I know when that elevator door opened up and I was given a chance to make a different decision, and I took it, you know? And I remember sitting in the room in detox, and like, they had, like, I don't know if it was a panel came through or we were doing a meeting or something like that, and the person said, probably only one of you guys is going to make it out of this. And I looked at everybody and I was like, it's going to be me. So sorry, guys. And I was right, you know? So luckily, one of the other people that I was in detox with, we were really close. They ended up getting clean like 3 years ago, and now they have 3 years after like another 10 years, like another 8 years on the street and stuff. And now they like just had a baby and got engaged, and they've been clean for 3 years. And I'm just like watching their life blossom, and I'm just like so proud of them, you know, because like because I saw them when they were out, and it was so scary. Like it was terrifying. I was like, I don't know if he's coming back. You know, and when you see people in the depths of their disease, like it's really hard to hope. It's really hard to believe. It's really hard to look at that and the tragedy that it is and be like, I see hope in a future for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I've seen people crawl out of the actual gutter, you know, out of the sewer, like, you know what I mean? Like people that you would never expect could figure it out. And now they just have these beautiful, successful lives and wives and children, and they own companies, and like they do miraculous shit all the time. And you're just like,
that's why we never give up.
That's why you never give up.
That's why you never give up on, you know, and like,
there are no lost causes.
There's none. Like,
No.
you know, I have a family member that is sick in their disease, and I still have hope. You know, it's just that some things have to change, and so and it's not necessarily things in her life. It might be the people in her life that need to make different decisions, because like at some point, if you continue to enable somebody, you'll enable them right to death.
Yep.
You know, they have to hit some kind of emotional, mental, and then the problem is oftentimes when you know, these people, they want help and they get help and they get to and then they get a little bit of recovery under their belt. Then the family members still go and do the wrong thing, and they don't continue to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and come back to your normal, regular life that you've been fucking drinking in for, you know, forever. Something has to change.
Something like drastic has to change. You know, they say you have to change everything, and that's you have to change one thing, and that's everything.
Everything.
You know, and you do.
But I say that you only have to change. What ends up happening is when you actually work the steps and you do the work, you've actually just changed one thing, and that's your perception of reality. And when your perception of reality changes, everything else changes.
100%.
Because when you're like, I don't want to hang out with the same people I used to hang out with. Like I have zero desire to hang out with people that like are gonna bring me anywhere backwards.
Right.
You know, and you're right, man. Like people can come from I was homeless.
Yeah.
Homeless. Like I didn't have a home. My family had lost everything. Yeah. You know, I was trying to hustle up 1999 so I could go to the Colton Inn, you know, to get a you know, a shower. And most of the time I just like jumped in swimming pools. Yeah. I was a lot better than a shower in the fucking I'd jump into apartment complex
wash
swimming
with
pool.
Chlorine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You know, I always carried a nice toothbrush and some toothpaste and maybe a little deodorant with me. But, you know, my life was fucking, who would ever thought?
Non-desirable.
Yeah. And that was like all I knew, because I like, you know, it's like I got addicted to meth when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, it's so young too.
It's like crazy to me.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question though, because you're a singer, songwriter. When did you? I mean, that's probably a stupid question, but when did you realize that you had a voice?
I realized, I always say I was singing before I could talk. Like my dad was a super talented musician. Like, and that's what's crazy about addicts is like, they're usually the most talented, like brilliant people that you've ever met in your life. Like personable,
smarter than most people.
Yeah. Like they just have all of these amazing qualities, and he could like pick up any instrument that he wanted and play it. And he was a songwriter and a singer. And so I saw that in him doing open mic nights and performing and stuff. And I just loved it. And, so I just started singing, and I think it was just like became an obsession for me. And it was something that kept me, you know, not lonely. And it was something I could focus my energy and intent on, and it didn't cost anything. And I could get better at it, and I could excel at it. And it got me attention. It got me love. And it got me things that I was like just barren for, you know what I mean? And so, I continued to like practice and learn, and like I would like perform at like competitions and stuff. And this was all when I was like a teenager, like early years into teenagers, singing like the school plays and like at church. I would find a church that would let me sing there as a kid, you know, just like let me sing, you know. And so and I started writing songs just because I liked what was on the radio and I wanted to write like that, you know. And so it was actually crazy because I would get locked up and I wouldn't have a pen in juvenile hall. And so like I would just write songs in my head. So I got really, really good at writing songs and memorizing them because I didn't like have a pen to write the songs with. And so that was like when you're spending, you know, 20 hours a day in a cell, what do? You find something that you can focus your attention on. And so that's what I did, like constantly. That was like all I had.
In your cell?
I would sing all the time. I would get special requests from different inmates. They would yell down the hall through their wicket, like, Keta, sing Weak by SWV. You know, like they would just like start yelling out songs and I would sing them. And I would sing at church when I was locked up and like, you know, and I got out and like I moved to LA with the intention of like pursuing music. And so that was like the goal there. And it was just my first love. It was honestly my first love. And it was what got me sober because I was like burning my career. Because I was working like at a really high level. I was a demo singer. I was like singing all the songs that like Katy Perry would get her demos, or Christina Aguilera, or whoever, like the songs that they sent to them. I sung those songs. And so I ended up like going off the deep end with my addiction and like started burning out my career. And I kind of did. And like people weren't fucking with me anymore. Like I was in rooms shaking hands with people that like I could only dream and imagine, you know, and then it all stopped. And so it took a while. It took a couple years for me to go from that point to rehab. But it was something that was like a dream that was living within me that wouldn't die. And so I got sober with two intentions. One was so that I could do music again. And the other one was that I could go to my sister's wedding. She was getting married and she invited me. And I didn't think that she was gonna, because she's the one that offered to like pay for my rehab. And I sat on her couch and lied straight to her face and was like, I'll be right back, you know? And her condition was that I had to be sober. And like, so that's what triggered me to even pursue going to rehab. But yeah, that was the moment I got clean. I like started reaching out to everybody and, you know, that I still had contact with that would talk to me, and I was open and honest with them. And one of the A&Rs that I was working with at the time was actually in recovery. And yeah, it happened to be like one of those things that like God kind of like ordained it. So then I started getting work doing, you know, demo stuff and like writing in the industry again, which is just a gnarly fucking industry, dude. Like it's just so hard. There's so much output with so little reward. Like when you do hit, like you hit big and it's wonderful, but there's so much grind involved. And it reminds me of like the street, like everybody's out for themselves, and it's not like an industry. It definitely got exhausting for me to be in that industry after a while. So I'm not actively in the industry anymore, but I do still create stuff. And yeah.
I mean,
and it's dirty and grimy.
I was just gonna say though, like this world is dirty and grimy.
Yeah.
And you know, everything I've ever done, there's dirty and grimy people in it.
Yeah.
In the treatment industry, there's a lot of good people, but it's very dirty and grimy.
It's very dirty and grimy.
You know. And it's like, what does that mean? I could go into a lot of things of what that means, but it is just, it's dirty and grimy from every area of you know, the people that pay us to, you know, the government to the people that work in it.
Yeah.
And to some of the clients that we serve, you know? Yeah.
And I think it's your like duty to try to bring some form of like goodness to it, you know, like you're shedding your light on it, you know, like you can only control what you bring to it.
Yep.
So trying to show up and operate as someone with character in a place where there's very little can be very difficult, but it's very necessary because it does influence people.
But I mean, look at it. To me, it's proof, like, so crystal freaking clear in so many avenues, from business to even this world, to the treatment world that I'm very new in, but I could still see it, to entertainment world. The people that you think that have it all and have gotten to the summit, gotten to the place, wherever that place is, they kill themselves. Why is that? Spiritually bankrupt.
Yeah.
You're doing things that I this is my personal opinion, so people might come for me for it, but I think that it is a trueness of, we are all meant to be fulfilled with some type of connection to a higher power than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And we're supposed to serve others, make others people feel great, and not be so self-consumed, which is a character defect of mine that I had to learn, that I'm an incredibly selfish individual, which I hate admitting that, but but I am, and so I have to actively seek not to be like that.
Yep.
And so when you're in self-fulfilled things, and that can go into ministry as well, because you have horrible stories about pastors and priests and all these things that are self-fulfilling, bad things happen, and it's because you're only filling yourself, one, like, whether it's with money, fame, notoriety, all of these things that it's in the Bible, like, they're pride, ego, all these things are not good for
Seven
us.
deadly sins.
That's right. So it's like, that's why I think it's so beautiful that we have a program, you know, like, as annoying and as painful as it is to have the disease and to go through all the stuff that we've all gone through and walked through, but the fact that you were able to get out of your shitbag town, no offense to your town, but it is
So much offense. Sorry. No.
and have that wherewithal, because I want people to hear this and be like, why not you? Of course, we all can do, like, you know, you were with somebody who was good with where they're at, and that's okay. And that's totally all right. But if you have that burning desire within yourself to want more, go fucking get it, because you can.
Yeah.
You know, and it might be terrible, and it probably will be. It's going to be, nothing is handed to anybody in this world. And you had to fight for exactly where you are today.
Exactly.
And that's why I think, like, you know, we do live in a time that we have podcasts. We have our stories to share, and why it's so important for people that are listening that are from your hometown or from San Bernardino or
the big IE.
exactly. And hear that and feel stuck, or be in a household of that generational curse of addiction to trauma, to things that are not good, and to have a little bit of hope that, like, you know what, I just heard on, because you have a podcast as well, that there's a possibility that I can get out of here too.
Yeah.
It just takes some type of desire, some type of hope, some type of dream,
And some type of action.
that's it. And to maintain our sobriety is all about action. So it's like, when you first got into recovery, like, did you get it the first time you went to rehab, or were you kind of like...
I did, but I didn't keep it. You know,
okay.
like, I got it for 3 years, and then, you know, I found out that I have bipolar 1. So I was bipolar 2 my whole life. Like, I had that one, which is like rapid cycling and like ups and downs, but I wasn't having like full manic episodes or anything like that. And I was a house manager. I was working in the music industry. I was working full time in treatment, and I was working doing personal training on the side, like, just to make all the ends meet. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you're early in recovery, like, you're busy. You're a busy bee, or you're, you know, I don't know if you're gonna make it, to be honest. Like,
True.
You're
I agree with
you're
that.
going to meetings. You're helping people. You're serving the community. You're working. You're trying to figure out how to life, you know. Nobody taught me. Nobody gave me a placard with the directions, you know what I mean? Like, so you're figuring it all out. And I was 26 when I walked in the rooms, and, you know, I had been a dancer for years before that. That was kind of like how I made my money when I was, you know, in between gigs or whatever the case was. And so it was easy for me to procure funds. And then I walked away from that industry when I got sober, because I figured it was probably not the best place for me to, it would be a great place to get a haircut. You know what I mean? So if you
hang out the barbershop long enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got this friend of ours that went into that type of industry after he got sober, and I love this dude.
Some people can do it.
Teddy.
Some people can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was at the point where, like, I was in my walk with God, that I was like, I have to trust you.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to, was because I had absolutely nothing. I had no, like my car was in the shop. I had just totaled it. I had like I had broken my back in a car accident like a year and a half before that. And they gave me like a shit ton of drugs. That's when my addiction really spiraled really bad. And I had like gotten back to LA on there's so much to my story. We could do 5 episodes, but on they extradited me because I had like a charge from this sting I was in, months before that, or like a month before I got into the car accident. I got out of jail from the sting operation. Within 3 days, I was in a car accident that broke my back and both my hips, and then had to go up Northern California and like heal. I lost everything, came back down because I got extradited, somehow built my life back up while I was using, and then went to rehab. But yeah, I was trying to figure out this thing called life, and I had like this mental break, and I didn't know what was happening, but I fucking got fired from the treatment center I was working at. I quit my job as the what's it called, the house manager. I dropped my clients and I like stopped answering calls from people at the studios, and I like packed my car full of bathing suits and I went to every national park on the western seaboard, including like the ones in Utah and the ones in Arizona, and didn't realize like what was happening, and I just remember being at the Snake River in Idaho, and like something snapped, and like I woke up and I like realized I hadn't had like a thought in days, and that voice, that internal narrative that usually occurs, had been gone for days, and it came back, and it was like somebody turned the lights on or something, and I was headed to Yellowstone, and it was 16 hours to Yellowstone, and it was 13 hours to my sister's house, and I just went west. I went to my sister's house, and I realized shortly after that I had my first manic episode. And while I was in Sedona, I smoked cigarettes at the time, and this guy was like, "Hey, I'll trade you a cigarette for a beer," and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." And I had 3 years of recovery. And like in this manic episode, I made the choice to drink a beer. And, it took, I think, 2 years for me to get my shit together and like have another chance at sobriety, so, and then COVID happened, whatever. But, I've had a few dates, and I think that's why I'm not like, I don't know that I go by a date anymore. You know what I mean? Like I know what it is. Like I'm aware of it. But the focus on dates really fucked me up the first time. Like it gave me the sunk cost fallacy. I totally burned out. And I had so much shame and guilt, and I walked in the rooms like to admit that I had relapsed, and like, I did not get the response that I thought I was going to get, and which was support.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a really devastating experience to relapse after being, especially because I was like somebody people looked up to, and I think they got fear about it. I think they were like, if it can happen to her, then like, sure, who's safe? You know what I mean? Because I was on fire for the program when it happened to me. And I'm just like, hey, life happens, like sometimes things happen. And so I kind of got turned off of the program for a while because of that. But I resented the program so much because they promised me, right, that that I would get better and I would stay better as long as I did these fundamental things. And there just happened to be something in my brain that was different than other people. And it made a decision. I made the decision, but in this state, I made that decision. So it felt like a decision was made for me, whether that's true or not. And so I resented it so much. And I remember fighting with God, and I was like, I'm mad at you. And I just heard, you're not mad at me. You're mad I didn't save you from yourself. And that makes me emotional even thinking about it, because that is what I wanted. Like I wanted God to save me from myself. Like I wanted God to save me from myself. And what I've really taken from that was I was supposed to walk down this path. I was one of those people who sat in the room and was like, relapse isn't part of my story, you know, and like had pride about it and had ego about it. And I had to be humbled in that way, you know, and just realize that like, hey man, no one's safe. You know what I mean? Like, don't get comfortable. Nobody's safe from relapse. Like, if you do the things, you're almost guaranteed, but that wasn't my story. Like, and I had to get over being resentful and angry towards the program. The program didn't do it to me. But when I was trying to come back, like, man, I was doing the 30, 60, 90, 90 and 90, had a sponsor, was working, like going hard, like working the steps. And I could not put days together to save my life when I was trying to come back. And I got so angry. And so I just gave up, you know, like I was like, I'm not going to keep doing this and embarrassing myself. I like keep picking up these 30-day chips. Like, this is horrible. This is fucking awful. I guess I'm going to go until the wheels fall off. And they did eventually, you know. And so luckily I never went back to my drug of choice. It was just like alcohol, which I like managed and navigated really well for a while, which is tricky, you know what I mean? And can be convincing, you know what I mean? So, but eventually it ended in like a complete, you know, devastation. And so, so we ended up quitting again. So that's always a fun story to tell, but I don't know if we have time to tell it. So,
I mean, you're telling my story.
I'm telling your story.
That part right there, like that.
I mean, we were both relapsers.
Like relapser,
Yeah.
but I'm like grateful today that I'm a relapser.
Yeah, me too.
Because like,
Me too.
man, I have so much empathy for people that are struggling.
Yeah.
Because I struggled just like you struggled to, you
Yeah.
know, and I kept getting 30. I was like embarrassed. People don't realize it's called the walk of shame.
Yes.
You know, and it's like the shame that we feel. And even though like we're not supposed to, you know, even as a community, we're supposed to welcome the newcomer back and with loving arms. But like at the same time, people in the program are human too. And they always want to put in their 2 cents or whatever. And like my story was great because it was a fall from grace, you know, it was a fall from the top, and it was like, it was beautiful, you know, and people love watching that. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
That was a good one. And like I just like you, I was so tired of relapsing that I just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I said, fuck it. And I hope nobody ever gets a case of the fuck it's like that. Cause I shouldn't be here after my last relapse. It was gnarly, but like God had a different plan for my life.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, what I do know works. I was listening to your story, what you talking, and like I felt the same way about the program. Like I hated it.
Yeah.
For a while. I'm back in it. Like I have a home group. I do my home group every Friday night, and then I do, you know, we do a Recover Out Loud meeting. Those are my meetings. But also like I had to actually like learn what the different things that are in the book. And I was listening to you, and you're right. Like it says, like there's promises, like if you do this stuff,
Rarely have we seen a person.
Rarely.
So it used to say
like,
never. I want you guys to know that. It used to say never. The reason why it says rarely is because of her story.
Yeah.
Sure.
And her story is the story that's in it is in the book. People don't talk about it in meetings, but if you read the literature, you needed outside help.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing.
And you
like,
didn't know you needed outside help, nor did probably your sponsor or anybody at the time. So nobody referred you to outside help. So you had your first true manic episode.
Right.
Packed up your shit.
Bathing suits, all bathing suits.
But I think
Like that
Made no sense.
I mean, it makes
She
sense to
didn't
me
know
because
either.
it makes sense to me because like I work in treatment and I've seen mania, and people don't know what's happening in mania.
Yeah.
It's amazing feeling.
Oh, it's like you're God.
You feel
like a drug. But you also didn't know either. So that's why
I
it's
didn't
like
know that could occur.
Right. So it's like, but that's why it's so important, like your experience, like you said, you know, you've been even from like your travel and your, and living in other countries and things like that. It's all for a reason to be able to then share your story because it's like at the time, you really didn't know exactly that you were in the mix of mania. I mean, obviously.
No,
you
and
do.
it says, and I always say this, it says in the book, it says a whole chapter could be written on these types of people.
Sure, no, it does.
And then it doesn't fucking write the chapter.
You're
You know what I mean?
right.
I'm like, where is it in the book? Like,
Yeah.
this book, this program for living.
So
Where's
true.
this design for living? Where is my chapter?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to fucking write it, you know? And it's like, it's too sticky, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's insane. You know, the outside help is important, and I was very against outside help, because I just was like, for one, I don't trust the government. You know what I mean? Like, so
feel you.
a little bit of paranoia there. You know, I don't trust you guys, but also, you know, I really just wanted a clean vessel, and I thought that meant that I had to do it on my own. I thought that it meant that I had to be strong enough to withstand the storm, and like, you know, I've had to be strong my entire life. It's something that was not born into me, but it was made out of me, you know? And so, being strong was just like inherent, like, okay, I'm strong enough to do this, you know? And I'm not superhuman, you know? I actually do need a little bit of help, and like, that's okay. It's okay that I have to take this little thing in the morning and it just makes sure that I don't sell all my shit and move to Peru. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It seems like a pretty good trade-off, you know? So, So.
Yeah, it's gotta be hard too to like trust the pharmaceutical companies. You know what I mean? But like,
it is.
The reality is, at the end of the day, and it's even hard for me because like, it's hard for me to trust doctors.
It's
because
very hard.
because doctors are
Treat me like
educated,
shit, too.
and on top of
Or
that,
bought by Pfizer.
well, they're bought by Pfizer, or they're educated by Pfizer,
Sure.
or you
The
know, whatever it
kickbacks or
is,
whatever the things.
And trust me,
Yeah.
the kickbacks are still happening. Even though, like, when my dad
Yeah.
was a doctor, my dad was a physician, and in the 80s, like, there was no kickback laws for doctors and pharmaceutical companies.
damn.
We would fucking travel. I mean,
right.
like fucking resorts in Hawaii. My dad would be lecturing. We'd just be getting whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
They would be paying for
That's
everything.
crazy.
But you know, and for me, it's like, I don't trust them now, because like, anytime they go and they start to tell us that something isn't good for us, like, let's just talk about, like, just for 2 seconds, peptides.
Yeah.
You know, now all of a sudden,
I love peptides.
now so do we.
Same.
We're all
We're
about
all
it.
I'm
Like,
about it.
7.
Yeah.
like,
Yes. Same.
like I'm 65 right now, but I look 40, right, Emily?
Are you 65?
No.
Oh, I was like, what?
50, 52.
Okay.
But
that would have been a good ad.
I know,
That would
right?
have been a good
It's fucking
sell.
BPC 157.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
NAD.
NAD. What else? Retta.
I'm afraid of that one.
Oh, I would. Well, I wouldn't be, but I wouldn't.
Well, no. It's just because I don't want to lose weight in my face. Like, my best friend was
right.
on it. She got shredded, but she lost a lot of weight in her face, and I just don't want that.
It's
if I needed it, I would take it. But
it's a little bit more difficult, I think, for women.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
Because
Especially we
with
lose
men,
elasticity and like the
you
collagen.
do, but
when
you
we
got it.
eat.
You got to be doing GHKCU. You got to
Yeah,
you got to
am.
be doing the good shit too. But the problem with men, I do see it in men too.
yeah.
But mostly,
Oh my
it's
god, I
like,
do too.
you know, I
I'm
was
thinking
actually
of one
yep.
particular.
I think she knows who that person is, so I will never mention his name.
Oh.
But like we get to take, you know, testosterone and keep our levels high, and
Yeah.
and I don't lose muscle, I just lose fat.
Yeah.
But I also have a sister that owns a med spa, so you know there might be
always
some
fun.
there might be some fake shit in here.
That's
Who
okay.
knows?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't care. I'm poking this face until the day I die.
Yeah. I get Sculptra like once every year. It lasts.
It does last. I've done Sculptra before.
I haven't done Sculptra.
It's kind of like what you have done.
It builds
Well,
collagen.
It builds the collagen.
Oh yeah, so
natural
I
color
do.
kind of-
What's the new
Radius.
Radius? Yeah,
Okay.
Radius.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they're a little bit different.
They are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sculptra
Because
is
Radius
just like
is still a little bit of a filler.
yes.
Like the
correct.
hyaluronic acid
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Sculptra,
goes
feeds your
away.
Collagen. Sculptra lasts a lot longer if
It
you're trying
does.
to get volume. Yeah.
And it's trying to like.
I don't know if I'm
migrate
trying to get volume because I don't want my cheeks to be like too.
Yeah, but you don't want
it's
them
when you
sunken
lose
I don't
in.
want 'em
weight.
sunken in.
Like
Yes.
if you're on like a fat loss protocol or whatever, and you're
You'll
losing
drop.
weight, you'll drop the fat pads in your face are like the first thing to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did because I've always been like into fitness and like
and so that's what I'm trying to replace.
No, for sure.
Rejuvenate that, So.
Well, not only that, but as women, we lose a significant amount of collagen every year.
Yeah.
So that alone, and like the elasticity is so different. Like men are so annoying because they age like to me, like fine wine. Like there's so many men that I think that are older.
We don't lose the shit. It's just
different.
It's just that it's okay and it's accepted.
Society.
And
no, it's not. It's different.
It's fine if we have some like laugh.
Yeah, because it looks
like like they whatever.
Shoot, what's the word I'm looking for?
Zaddy.
No.
That's
no.
Yeah, because like when men like get older, it's I don't know. There's something about it.
Yeah, it's
character, wisdom.
It just
strength,
looks. It does.
Power.
And they look. Women is just different.
Yeah, it's more of like a refined gentleman type thing.
Yeah.
Than like with women, it's just like you better not.
You better not.
You better not.
You better not.
You better keep that.
You better
taut.
that fucking jawline better be snatched.
Better be snatched. Exactly.
What's her name? Got snatched.
Kris Jenner.
Yep, exactly.
She looks great.
She looks great.
I'm doing it. When I'm 50,
doing it, girl.
50.
No,
I'm
not
getting a
50.
facelift.
I think you gotta wait till you gotta push it a little.
Do you
longer.
realize
I
if
don't
I
know.
do? Wait,
I don't know.
Hold on.
I think I'm too vain.
If you say 50, that means that I have to get one in 8.5 years.
I think it's definitely a case by case, and luckily I have a really strong jaw, so hopefully my structure keeps everything like in place. So we'll see what happens.
Me too.
As we go on, and luckily we're not like abusing ourselves anymore, so we're not destroying ourselves.
I mean, alcohol is the worst
It
one
is.
for people. It just
for women
it ages
for
women
sure
like gnarly.
Men too, but I think.
But yeah. It's really
You're so right.
It's really bad for and obviously meth too, but like
meth would be actually number one in the number one spot, and then
alcohol.
But I don't know, you guys. Alcohol's right up there, like a true blue like alcoholic. Like when you look at from their nails to their skin, to just all of the things, and same with a meth, I guess. Addict.
Meth addicts, they just like
quicker.
don't eat and they don't brush their teeth and like
they pick their skin
out. Pick their skin and I mean I used to sit there with tweezers and like pluck my beard.
Yeah.
And I'd like try to shape it. What the fuck?
Yeah, but that's what's crazy is I would do that without.
And you'd be pulling out fucking like worms.
Nothing would be there.
Worms.
Nothing was there.
Worms.
Yeah.
Little parasites.
Nothing was ever there. There's always something there.
I know.
You do it sober. So shut the fuck up.
I know. That's scary.
Oh no.
I know.
It's a disease, mental health disease. We got her.
I think it actually is.
It is. We got her in therapy. It seems to. When's the last time you picked your face?
I've been really good but look at how.
Do you know how long?
It's been so good. I've been going to
therapy?
but I've been going to my regular facials.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You were going to your regular facials before therapy. It's all therapy. You ain't quitting. She's trying to quit therapy.
Oh no. I'm going to go back to therapy actually. Like I love therapy.
It's great.
Just having just some unbiased person that you can just run all your thoughts through. Like it's one of my favorite things. I don't even know why I stopped. I think I moved states. That's what happened. And I needed to find a new therapist and it just didn't get checked off the list. But I love therapy. I'm such an advocate for therapy.
Yeah.
At the end of my last therapy deal, the guy was like, we've worked through all of this. And then, if you feel like you need to come back,
you can always come back.
You can always come back.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to go back.
Yeah.
It was good.
Sometimes I just feel like it's nice to just vent sometimes without.
I need one that's closer though, like just like right around the corner, because I don't really like leaving San Juan Capistrano.
Mine's super close to me, so I have no excuse. But I don't know. I feel like I'm doing it as like an experiment too, because I believe in therapy because we have facilities and like our therapists are great.
See, she can't talk shit about therapy because like fucking bro,
it's what we do.
Clients,
right. So I believe in the modality, and there's also way different types of therapeutic approaches that you can do.
Right.
And I've had a great experience so far. I mean, I tried when I was younger, and I was just like not even I was horrible. I was just like a horrible jerk, not even really participant into it. But I kind of feel like my therapist needs to like yell at me or something.
I hope she listens to our podcast.
Or like
you want a breakthrough.
Yeah, I do. I want her to like poke, like my sponsor. She's pretty gnarly. Like she'll poke me a lot because I'm pretty good at trying to like deliver just bare minimal things.
Right.
Where I don't want to just, yes, there's going to be times of venting. I think that's important too, because we hold on to a lot of things that you don't necessarily share. Mm-hmm. But I want to, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I want some like huge breakthrough.
Yeah. You might have to go get it yourself.
They might not even happen. You might just be having like little small micro breakthroughs that in a year from now you're going to be like, holy shit, that's exactly what I needed.
Maybe my mood has shifted.
It has. And you know, your therapist, between myself, your therapist, and your sponsor, and probably Emily, you know, I feel like you've made some better choices lately.
Good. That's
now,
the goal.
Before we wrap up, I want to know how life is going for you today, like right now.
Blessed. I'm so incredibly blessed. I am in a portion of my life where, you know, they say that you can have a life beyond your wildest dreams, and it looks nothing like I thought it would. It looks absolutely nothing like I thought it would, but it is absolutely perfect for me and where I'm at. And I wake up every day with a contentment that you cannot buy, that you can't buy. And so I'm just like truly and utterly grateful for this position. I think that especially when you struggle with mental health issues, any day with contentment and peace is a good fucking day. Especially when you struggle with addiction issues. Any day that you get to live sober, it's a good fucking day, you know? And so my mouth, I'm like, I'm trying not to say the F word anymore, and it's not working out for me.
It's okay.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Fuck
no,
that.
I'm just kidding. I'm not good at that. Apparently I cuss a lot.
You know, it's funny because I've never been convicted to like stop cussing.
Me neither.
And then recently I was like,
have you?
Yeah. And it's just something like little by little, I think, you know,
that's good.
We become more refined and like trying to like refine just a little bit more. And like, I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, like something in my spirit, like is like sand that out.
Speaking to you.
Sand that little buff that out there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I have to be perfect in
it,
but
you're listening to that.
Yeah. Well, that's what's always guided me is
for sure.
And this conviction about one thing or the other. And like, that's what I love about God is like, he's perfectly capable of convicting you of anything. And, he waits until you're ready. Like this, such a small little in unimportant thing, like saying the word fuck, like wait until she's in a really good place and then be like, yeah, maybe don't say fuck so much. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when I was like dying, he wasn't like, you know, don't say fuck. He was like, whatever, say fuck all you want. And then just, you know, just try not to die. You know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe we'll work on that part a little bit later.
Yeah.
He might have even said, just don't fucking die.
Just don't fucking die.
I don't know. That's how my God might have taught my God.
He probably did say that, you know? Yeah, I think God talks to us the way we can hear it.
100%.
For sure, because like you know, in the 10 Commandments, it really just says, you know, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. I don't think anywhere in the Bible or anywhere that it says anything about actually like cussing. I just think that it's also like, some people don't like it, and you know, like, I think there's a time in my life. There's a time in a place for it, especially when I'm talking to people in the fire.
Yeah,
you know, people that are hurting.
Yeah,
and
they can relate.
And I need to get to them.
Yeah,
and they, because like if sometimes they might look at me and be like, you don't understand. I'm like, bull motherfucking shit.
Right.
Bullshit. Like
bullshit.
I've been there and probably deeper in this fire than you have.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm and like we're uniquely qualified to help these people out of the fire, and that's really our job, our primary purpose. And I'm so happy for you and how your life is going. And
thank you.
I also, before, I want to ask too about your podcast, because
the name is dope.
That's
Thank
cool. How did you get the name, and when did you start, and what motivates you to keep going?
Yeah, so it was already started when I kind of joined like Natalie did, you know what I mean? Like it was already going, and I actually got on because I do social media for different people, companies, whatever. That was like a side gig.
Nice.
I like got into social media through the music industry, and like was able to, you know, create kind of a name for myself, and so knew a lot about social media, and so I sold those services. You know what I mean? And so actually met my partner at that time to do just that end of it, and then he was just like, hey, do you want to host it? And I was like, I could potentially, I've never done anything like that before, but I like the concept, and I like, you know, I was like, I definitely want to refine it and like streamline it, get some things, some kinks worked out. But I think I could potentially get some really good guests, you know? And so I started in February of last year. So I'm coming up on a year of doing it, like we were talking about before. And it's just been like an insane ride. Like we've had on so many incredible stories and people, and what motivates me to keep going is just people hearing those stories and being able to relate to them, and hopefully them getting help, you know, or, you know, them holding on. Maybe they're, you know, they're already in recovery and they're just, you know, tapped out and they don't want to stay, or whatever the case is. And I always ask everybody at the end of the episode, I'm like, if somebody's listening and they're lost and they're hopeless, you know, what do you have to say to that person? And it's always like some gem of wisdom that's just like, and people typically say the same things. They say, ask for help. You can't do it alone. You know, there's like a couple things that people will touch on and say, and it's always so true. You know, it's just like, there is a place where you can go and get help, and you don't have to do it alone. And why would you want to anyways? Like, please, like there is a whole family that you've never met that's waiting for you to become exactly who you were meant to be. And all you have to do is take the first step, and it's going to be hard. Nobody said it was going to be easy. It's going to be simple, not easy, but there's an entire life that's waiting for you that is beyond your wildest dreams, beyond anything that you could have fathomed. And you will miss it if you do not take an opportunity to choose yourself and to choose a different life. And God, that would be a travesty. If I would have missed this life, I couldn't even, like, it makes me emotional. Like, I couldn't even imagine all of the moments that I've had because of the choices that I've been able to make, and the opportunities that I've had because of recovery. And so I'm just truly grateful. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I was just scrolling through through your shit right now. Cool. Some of our favorite people follow her. Amy and Chad, obviously, multifaceted monster.
Oh, I love them.
I know. So nice. So great. Love them.
Devin? Fucking Devin?
Devin?
How the fuck does Devin know
I
you?
feel like Devin knows everybody.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Everybody, actually, fuck everybody. A lot of people.
But it's our
Wild Card the Dragon.
It's a small little community. Of course,
It is.
musician.
Yeah. Breezy.
Oh, I love Breezy. There's a couple, yeah.
Corey Sullivan.
Oh, I just noticed those. Those are so cute.
Oh shit!
Those.
Our boy Teddy Tarantino follows her. He's like one of my favorite dudes right now. I
don't know
Yeah,
who that
just wants
is.
his job.
Huh? I don't want his job.
Just kidding.
What's his job?
He's a male porn star.
Oh my God.
And he's been sober since he was 17. He's the one I was talking about who got into it after.
Oh, okay.
After the fact, but he is a like 12.
He's a spiritual little wizard.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's really,
And I think like he's like at the top of it. So there's only a few rotations
for like males,
Right.
There's 6 total in that.
6 or 7, something like that. So
Yeah.
It's small.
It's small.
But and this is why, you know, humans are spectacular, because he is the true individual where you cannot judge him based off just his career choice.
Yeah.
Because when you sit down and you talk to him and the little nuggets that he does put out, it is, you would never think that coming from somebody that does that for a living.
Yeah.
Because we have, you know, all of our own like preconceived.
Yeah, I have friends in the industry, and they're some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Like, would do anything for anybody, you know. And
He works a solid ass.
I literally
it's
try not to judge, but like he was the second. It's the second guy that we had on, and the first guy was a little sad and not, you know, like kind of felt stuck in that life. And this dude was, I loved Teddy.
One of my best friends, she's in the industry, and she fucking loves it, and she's, you know, at the top of her game, and she's killing it, and she's killing it, you know.
Yeah.
I think that there's a percentage of people that just like there's a percentage of people that should become doctors. There's
Sure.
a percentage of people that should be,
Yeah.
you know, like architects or whatever. There's a percentage of people that are just cut out and made for that lifestyle. And there's something like that protects them from the negative aspects
Something.
of it. Because I've met a lot of people who weren't.
Absolutely same.
And like, I'm like, ooh, this is killing your soul. You should
Like,
probably
literally.
find
Yeah,
something
yeah. This dude
Yes.
needs
Yeah.
to get out.
You need to, and it's the
Either
money
that or
will
find
trap you.
something.
That's true.
The
Find
money will
something.
trap you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want that.
No.
No. I mean, you can make money anywhere, though. Like,
Yeah.
That's the,
You have to believe that though.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
You got to believe that.
Yeah, some
Especially-
people
yeah.
don't know how, and they don't know how. They don't believe. But what a pleasure
Yeah,
meeting
thank
you.
you
Thank
and
so
you.
much.
having
It
you
was a
amazing.
on.
pleasure. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
You're a beautiful soul.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Wait, for people that want to check out, especially your music and things, all of you,
Yeah,
where do they go?
you can Google Keta Loren, Keta, Lauren Loren, or I am Keta Loren on Instagram, Keta Loren on TikTok. There's a bunch of like, you know, motivational videos and stuff. That's been something that I'm really passionate about. And then music, yeah, Keta Loren. So it's Keta, not anything else.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.